Today I ask, what does a copier have to do with a baby? Hey everybody, my name is Scott Vermillion. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about spiritual practices for families. One of the things that pastors like me are in danger of doing is making spiritual practices an Olympic sport for Christians. And what I mean by that is that we can get so excited about talking about spiritual practices on Sunday morning is that we can lose touch with the actual day-to-day realities Monday through Saturday. And therefore, only very few people who have a lot of time on their hands can actually participate in this spiritual life. And I want to debunk that. I want to say that there are actual spiritual practices that we can all integrate into our life, in our everyday life, no matter what's going on with you, so that you can benefit and you can see your relationship with God develop. And so what we're going to talk about today is just sort of an overview of how this works. I want to talk about what it means for us to be people who lead our children to follow Jesus. And I don't know about you, but it's hard to lead my children in anything. I mean, I'm still trying to lead my children in brushing their teeth. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I'm still having to help them do that. And so they just don't seem to take that on their own. It's just too big of a chore for them, I guess. But I see that if we're going to try to lead our children in following Christ, I think that's going to be a big effort on our part. However, here is the ace in the hole for us. Earlier I asked that what's a copy machine have to do with a baby? And the reality is everything. Because copy machines, we know, do something really, really well. They copy whatever we put on the glass. Over and over and over, they make multiple copies of that same thing that we put on that glass. And I think babies do the same thing. Whatever they see through the lenses of their eyes, they copy over and over and over and over. What they see is what they copy. And the good news is when they come out of the womb, they see a mom and dad, hopefully, who love them with everything they've got. And so if you want to lead your kids in following Jesus, then you have to be a good model. You have to be someone who's intentional about your own faith, who is spending the time and wanting to develop your relationship with Jesus. And as you're doing that, chances are that little copy machine in that baby room is going to see that as he or she grows up, and they're going to want to do the same thing. They're going to see that as a value, and they're going to see the intention that you put in your own relationship with God, and they're going to want to copy it. And here's the thing. If you're not intentional about developing your own relationship with God, then they're going to look to someone else to give them the cues for what does it mean to be in relationship with God. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to give that responsibility away to someone else. I want that responsibility to teach my kids about who Jesus is and about this loving relationship that we have with him. Jesus said that in Matthew 16:24, that whoever wants to find their life must lose their life. They must take up their cross and follow me. And I think he was talking to parents, because if we want to instill life in our children, we need to learn to sacrifice for them. We need to give our life away. And there's no better thing that we can do for our children than to spend the time giving our life away to the Lord as a service to them, that they would benefit, that they would see how important this relationship is with Jesus and want to copy it in the same manner. So there's the overview for our conversation this next several weeks. We're going to talk about different spiritual practices, and we're going to hopefully see how we can integrate it into our everyday life in a way that doesn't overwhelm us, but actually sets us free. So if you learned something from this, comment on it. If you've got ideas of your own about how to lead your kids to follow Jesus, definitely would love to hear your comments on that. So write it below. And we want to be in conversation throughout the week about things that we're trying, things that we're doing, how we're growing, so that we can pass it on to others. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk soon.